Why are animals so weird? Nature can be strange. Very strange. Many animals seem bizarre to us. Giraffes have long necks. Elephants have huge ears and long trunks. Rhinoceroses have sharp horns. And these animals aren't even the strangest. What makes some animals so weird? It's all because of evolution. Creatures need to adapt in order to survive. Some animals live in harsh places, such as the desert or deep in the ocean. Over time, they must evolve. They develop adaptations that help them survive in this wild world. These adaptations may seem weird to us, but these animals couldn't live without them. Baffling bugs. Arthropods have developed some creepy features to help them survive. These critters have lived on Earth for over 500 million years. Scientists believe they were the first creatures to live on land, and now they can be found almost every place on Earth. Insects are a type of arthropod. They are invertebrates. They have an exoskeleton, a segmented body, and jointed legs. Everything from a common brown spider to a crab is an arthropod. This group of animals includes some of the strangest species on Earth. Peppered moth. Our world is always changing, and every creature must adapt to survive. Evolution occurs when animals change over time and increase their chances of survival. The peppered moth once spent its days resting on light-colored trees. Its black and white wings blended in perfectly. But then, the Industrial Revolution changed the world. People began using more machines. These machines produced pollution that filled the air. The light-colored trees became covered in dark soot. The peppered moth needed to adapt to the new environment. Some moths evolved darker wings and bodies. The darker moths were better able to hide from predators. In time, only black moths remained. This change didn't happen overnight. It took more than 50 years, but it allowed the peppered moth to survive. Flower mantis. The praying mantis is one of the fiercest predators on Earth. It waits to strike until its prey is near. Then it moves with amazing speed. With its spiny arms, it can capture prey that is much larger than itself. Some mantises have evolved amazing forms of camouflage. The flower mantis looks just the way it sounds, like a flower. There are many species of the flower mantis. Some have legs that look like flower petals. They attract bees looking for pollen. But these bees are in for a cruel surprise. Those petal-like legs snap shut like a steel trap. Pink cyanide millipede. Some arthropods are camouflaged, but the pink cyanide millipede isn't one of them. This 2-inch long millipede is a shocking pink color. The bright color isn't meant for hiding. Instead, it's a warning to predators. The color says to stay away. This creature has an effective defense against predators. When threatened, it oozes toxic cyanide. Those who have studied the creature say it smells like almonds, a common sign of toxicity in the wild. Giraffe-necked weevil. The island of Madagascar lies off the coast of Africa. An odd little beetle lives there. The giraffe-necked weevil is barely 1 inch long, but just like the more famous African giraffe, it has a very long neck. Its long, skinny neck and bright red wings make it easy to identify. Males fight over the females, using their extra long necks to wrestle with each other. These tiny animals spend their lives in forest trees. The female's neck is almost 3 times shorter than the male's neck. She uses her neck to roll a leaf into a tube. 1 egg is laid inside the tube. Then she puts the leaf nest in a safe spot in a tree or on the forest floor. Mind-blowing mammals. Scales, beaks, webbed feet, laying eggs. These are not traditional mammal traits. Most mammals don't lay eggs. They give birth to live young. Most have hair, not scales. And most mammals don't need webbed feet to help them swim. But some mammals have developed weird adaptations to help them survive. Adaptations that help animals survive are passed on to their offspring. The adaptations that make it harder to survive are less likely to be passed on to offspring. Tarsier. They may look like aliens, but these small mammals are well adapted to live in the jungles of Southeast Asia. They are nocturnal hunters. They feed on insects and other small animals. At night, the tarsiers call back and forth to each other to defend their territory. They have huge, sensitive eyes. Each eye is as big as its brain. Those big eyes help the tarsier hunt in the dark of night. The eyes are so big that they can't move them. The tarsier must turn its head to look at something. Their ears move constantly, searching for sounds of danger. Tarsiers also have very long fingers and toes, which help them climb trees and pounce on their prey. Long tails help them keep their balance. Pangolin. Pangolins are the only mammals with scales. They are made of keratin, the same material that makes up human fingernails and hair. When they are threatened, they curl into tight balls and let off a harsh smell. The edges of the scales are sharp enough to injure an attacker. Only the face and underbelly are not protected by scales. These armored animals have a long tongue that is perfect for lapping up ants. Their front claws are so large, they curl them under when they walk so they won't be damaged. They bring them out when it's time to rip into an ant nest. The long tail is used for balance when crawling through trees. These timid creatures tend to live alone. Platypus. The platypus is a mammal that looks like a cross between a duck, a beaver, and an otter. It has traits that are similar to birds, reptiles, and mammals. Its strange mix of adaptations is perfect for its environment. One of the most unusual features of the platypus is that it lays eggs like a bird or a reptile. But it is a mammal because it feeds its young milk from its body. The platypus lives in eastern Australia and spends much of its time in the water looking for food. It feeds on worms and insects. The bill of a platypus is flexible and rubbery. Webbed feet help it travel underwater. The back claws of the male platypus are venomous. Aye. The aye-ayes live on the island of Madagascar. These odd creatures can be found in the canopy of the rainforest. They prefer to live high in the trees and rarely touch the ground. Like many creatures, they are active at night and rest during the day. Aye-ayes have a special adaptation that helps them hunt. The third finger on each hand is long and thin. They use it to tap tree branches while looking for food. The tapping sound changes when they find small insects living inside the branch. Then they chew into the branch with their long teeth. Using their thin finger, they reach inside to dig out the meal. Some people find the aye-aye to be so bizarre, it's frightening. They tell legends of the aye-aye being a demon. They say it can kill by pointing its long, eerie finger. Freaky fish. Life has existed in the ocean for millions of years. Thousands of species live in the cold, dark waters miles below the ocean's surface. Sunlight doesn't reach that far down. There is no plant life and little for them to eat. Instead, they rely on unique adaptations to help them survive in this underwater desert. They live on sulfur and methane. They eat the remains of other creatures. These are true survivors. Blobfish. The blobfish isn't the best-looking fish in the ocean, but it's one that's hard to forget. This odd-looking fish lives in a dangerous habitat. Thousands of feet below the surface of the ocean, food is hard to find. It has no choice but to save its energy. The blobfish is well adapted to this world. Its body is jelly-like and contains little muscle. Since its body is slightly less dense than water, the blobfish can float through the water. To catch its food, the blobfish just remains still and snaps up prey as it drifts by. Barrel eye. The barrel eye is one of the most unusual deep-sea fish. Its huge eyes are perfect for seeing in the dark. Its tubular eyes are able to swivel up and look through a transparent dome. With these eyes, the barrel eye can see prey floating above it. It may help to collect more light for better vision. What looks like small, beady eyes on the front of the barrel eye's face are actually scent organs that act like nostrils. The power of adaptation. Animals don't decide to evolve. Adaptations happen randomly inside a creature's DNA. DNA is a set of instructions found in every cell. Those instructions tell organisms how they should grow and act. Some changes in DNA make animals weaker. Other changes make animals stronger. A slightly longer neck may make it easier to reach food. Larger eyes may mean it's easier to find prey. And larger ears can help an animal hear danger and escape more quickly. Over time, these small changes add up to a new species. They may look strange, but for these bizarre animals, these adaptations are the difference between life and death.
Todos sudah pernah kan? Oh.